weekly forecast. So this is a weekly forecast. As I promised to you guys, I'll be doing weekly forecast every weekend, right? So weekends I'll be forecasting for the week ahead, right? So the pairs that we'll be doing in this weekly forecast are DXY. I'll be forecasting the dollar, the direction for the coming week for the dollar. I'll be forecasting GBPJPY, Euro USD, and USDCHF. And if we still have time, I might do USDJPY. So let's head on straight into the charts. So we have DXY here on the higher time frame, right? And what do we see on DXY? We see that price broke structure here, gave us a pullback, and then went on to break structure. So this is somewhat a what? It's somewhat an uptrend, yeah, to put it. So after this break of structure, we were within this swing structure here, right? With this being the strong low and this being the weak high. So ideally, we expect price to give us a pullback after the break of structure, give us a pullback to at least the 50%, or if it's willing to go even further to a well-priced demand zone below the 50%, right? But what price did was come down and did what? And it came all the way down and broke structure here. Let's pick up in a little bit messy right now. And broke structure here, right? So after this break of structure, we had a pattern like this. Higher high, lower high, high high, higher low, man. We had higher high here. Let me show you here. We had higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low. Understand? So after this break, price eventually what it turned bearish. Understand? So we're currently within this swing range here. Understand? And looking deep into our internal structure, what do we have? We do see that our current internal structure is this one. This is our current internal structure, right? This is our current internal structure. So since this is our internal structure on the daily time frame, what do we see? We see that price gave us little to no pullbacks here. It just flushed down, understand? And it led to this break of structure here. What can I expect? Since we've had a flush down like this, I'm at least expecting price to like feel feel all of these inefficiencies, right? All of these fair value gaps, which I call them these days. So I'm expecting price to at least give us a pullback to then low. At minimum, give us an internal pullback because price doesn't move straight into one direction. At minimum, I'm expecting an internal pullback. At max, if we could get something like this, a pullback, then eventually break the internals high, then I'll be expecting what? I'll be expecting a full-on swing pullback, right? So yeah, moving down to the 4-hour time frame, which is the internal of the daily time frame. What am I looking at here? So we're looking at something like this. We had this with this run, understand? So this is our internal, this is our 4-hour swing, right? So this being the strong high of the 4-hour, and the strong low hasn't been established. The strong low will only be established after we break this high here, right? So since we've had a flush here, we're now starting to see price do what? Pause a little bit, which could symbolize that we might be starting with our daily pullback. You understand? So Since we've had this pause here, we might be starting with our daily pullback, right? So we just have to do what? We just have to get this break above here, which would signal to us that actually our pullback is about to start. But then for now, we just let price do its thing. If price continues to move lower, it's okay. We're not trying to anticipate that. We're not saying the pullback has started. The pullback hasn't started. The 4 hour internal pullback, it hasn't started. So yeah, but for the week ahead, what I would like to see is at least price give us a pullback, a mini pullback, an internal pullback, a 4 hour internal pullback to clarify, so that yeah, we can feel all these inefficiencies and then move lower. At ultimate, since we have broken structure on the daily time frame to see a swing pullback, right? So moving on to GBPJPY. Right? So looking at GBPJPY, let's start on the daily time frame. What do we see on the daily time frame what's this doing now? What do we see on the daily time frame for GBPJPY? This is what we see. This is what we see. We had our break of structure, a pullback, a break of structure, a pullback, and another break of structure, an ultimate break of structure, right? So this is our latest break of structure, making this our swing range, our daily ultimate swing range, right? So since we're in a bullish daily, right? We look at the internal. We've had our pullback. On our pullback, we expect this low to hold since it led to what? Since it led to this break of structure, right? So on our pullback, we pulled back all the way to extreme demand, right? After we pulled back to extreme demand, what did we get? Price mitigated extreme demand and started doing what? And started moving bullish. Understand? So price turned bullish on the internal. The internal structure turned bullish. The internal structure of the daily time frame turned bullish, which is what? Which I consider as my 4 hour structure. So when price turned bullish like this, right? When price turned bullish like this, on the daily internal, what did it do again? It then later turned bearish. The internal then later turned bearish. Understand? So after this, these two internal break of structures, these three internal break of structures actually, were currently within this internal structure here. We're currently within, let me just remove these. We're currently within this internal structure, right? So being on that internal structure, after this break of structure, what might happen here? We move on to the 4 hour time frame, which is the structure here, the internal of the daily time frame. We move down to the 4 hour time frame. What do we see? We see that price came down, broke structure, gave us a pullback, and broke structure again. Understand? Symbolizing that what? It's a bearish trend, right? So after this pullback, price flushed down and broke structure, right? So after a break of structure, what do we expect? We expect a pullback. Understand? A 4 hour pullback. Understand? So since price on the 4 hour time frame broke structure, we had this type of structure here, this type of 4 hour internal structure. We have this, which is a week above, then continuation, then price came, it went down, failed to break this weak structure, which failed to break the structure. So Since it failed and it actually started turning bullish, t- it actually started printing a little bit of bullish price action. What can we expect on DX or on thingy on GBPJPY? Ultimately, for the coming week on GBPJPY, I am expecting price to break this high here. I'm expecting price to break this high here. Understand? So yeah, for the coming week, I see GJ breaking this high here, Monday, Tuesday. Then after breaking that high, giving us a pullback to if this high, yeah, let me clarify this. If this high gets broken, then that means that the 4 hour swing pullback has started. Understand? Then we can expect price to come to zones such as the zone, come to zones such as this zone, and you could include this zone as well. Yeah, we can expect price to come to supply zones that make sense. Understand, for a swing continuation, right? So ultimately, I'm expecting if price is going to break this high here in the coming week, which seems more likely, understand, can start to expect what? To expect a swing pullback of the 4 hour time frame, which is the daily internal, right? So overall on GJ, I'm expecting price to at least get to more than 189.82, right? So moving on to USDCHF. USDCHF on the 4 hour time frame. USDCHF on the 4 hour time frame, we had such structure, right? We have bearish structure on the 4 hour time frame for USDCHF, which was a break. Price gave us a pullback which lasted a long time. As you can see, guys, since this high led to this break of structure, it's a strong high. Price tried twice to come back and it went down, to come back and it went down. Because why? This high led to a break of structure. So it's a strong high. It cannot be broken that easy, understand? Had price went up and broken this structure, price would have turned bullish. But then for as long as the structure is intact, price is still bearish, right? So yeah, looking at DXY on the at USDCHF, sorry, at USDCHF on the daily time frame, we look bearish. We had this recent break of structure here, and currently we're within this swing pullback here. Understand? So being in that swing pullback, what do we expect? We expect a pullback high to then continue, but then we don't call that, understand? So our internal is just, excuse me, our internal is just a flash down. This chart is not looking ideal to me. I don't want to lie to you. This chart is not looking ideal to me. I'm not expecting much until at least we get a pullback and a continuation to then I'll start looking at this daily internal. But this daily internal doesn't look like exciting to me, not unless we get on the 4 hour time frame. On the 4 hour time frame, we got a pause. After price racing down like this, we've finally had our pause here. Our pause here. This could be an early sign that price could do what? Price could give us an for our swing pullback, which is a for our internal pullback, right? So yeah, guys, like that's the that's the yeah. So sorry, guys, I got disturbed, but yeah, ultimately I was saying this could be a sign. After this impulsive move, strong impulsive move, having such a pause could be a sign that we might be getting a pullback soon. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for on USDCHF. I'm basically waiting for a pullback to start. Then yeah, as soon as the pullback starts, I'll be playing the day trade on USDCHF. There aren't any like swing trades available. Moving on to Euro. So yeah, sorry for that disruption. So looking at EURUSD now, what do we see? We see that looking back here, looking back here, we see that we had our break of structure here, right? We had a pullback, a massive swing pullback for the rest of 2023 and 2024. I think we're in a pullback. Then we got our pullback. We got our continuation here. So we had lower low, lower high, and lower low, right? So this being the lower high, because why? It led to this structural break here, right? So looking at this, after we got this break of structure here, after a break of structure, what do we expect? We expect a pullback, right? Cool, we got this break of structure here. What was I expecting? I was expecting price to give us a pullback to a zone that makes sense, that is in premium pricing being above the 50%, right? Cool, this zone stood out to me. What was I expecting from this zone? I was expecting for price to do what? To get to this zone, get to this zone, and then do what? And then give us bearish price action and then change structure in a way. I was expecting for price to get to this zone and then change structure to show what the daily swing is continuing. But what did we get? Price got there, and what did it do? Price momentarily paused, changed structure to show that okay, cool, the price has changed, the internal of the daily time frame has changed, and what can we expect? We're expecting bearish movement, or what, a daily continuation to then do what, targeting the daily low. But what price did is then, after breaking the structure here on the for our internal, what did it do? It then went on to break the structure here, you understand, signalizing that cool, we are bullish, you understand. So after that break of structure, it actually eventually leading to a daily break, breaking this strong high here, understand. So after this break over here, automatically for me, this break and close symbolized to me that cool, prices then now what, it's bullish now, right? So okay, moving on, what do we see? We have this pullback, we have this continuation. I don't consider this to be a 4 hour pullback. Why? Because we didn't see it on the daily time frame, right? So cool. Now currently on the 4 hour time frame, we're within this swing range, right? And within that swing range, what do we see? We see that price has been moving up rapidly, and price has recently started doing what? Price has recently started pausing, understand? Which could, not is, could be an early sign of price pulling back. Understand? So yeah, what am I expecting for price for me to consider this as for our internal pullback? I want to see a break of this low, a break of this low. If price could break that low, then I'm certain that the 4-hour pullback has started, and I'm looking to actually move higher with it. So those are my analysis. I don't want to over exceed time. Those are my analyses on dollar index. The dollar index being we're waiting for price confirmation. We're waiting for price to confirm that it is actually turning bullish. You understand, to facilitate at least the internal pullback. The GBPJPY, I'm expecting it to break that thingy. I'm expecting it to break the highs at 180, 189 to show that the 4-hour swing pullback is starting, and the and USDCHF, I'm just waiting for it to fix itself. It's been on the daily time frame, it's bearish, but then it's just been choppy for me. I don't trade such markets. Then on Euro USD, I'm expecting the same thing as the DXY, but then the inverse. I'm expecting it to break the low that I show you in order for me to confirm it to be bearish, facilitating the 4-hour internal pullback. So yeah, that's it, guys, from me. Hope to see you guys next week again. Thank you so much. Bye.